GM, everyone. And I'm Peter from Nearweek. This is the official Weekly Near Protocol newsletter, and I'm delighted to be back with another Near Town Hall. So many great projects and builders are laying the foundation for decentralized AI and chain abstraction on Near, and the world needs to know that the open web revolution is near. That's why we're doing these town halls every month. We've got a jam-packed session ahead of us. It's going to be an update from Ilya, data-packed update from Flipside. David Morrison from the Foundation is going to walk us through a lot of the redacted stuff coming up this week. We got Alex Labs, Ori Chain, and Socket Protocol with some very interesting chain signature updates. Then we got updates from DevHub, DevDev, KeepHum, and we're going to introduce to you one of the latest projects joining the Near ecosystem, Templar Protocol. First up is you, Ilya, the Near Protocol co-founder and CEO of Near Foundation, aka the Black Rocket, who, amongst many things, is pioneering decentralized AI on Near Protocol. Take it away, Ilya. The stage is yours, and let me know when to change slides.
Sounds good. Hey, everyone. I hope you're having a great start of the week. I am very excited to see some of you at Redacted in Bangkok in effectively 5-6 days. And let's go to the next slide. So I think the main message I want to leave you with here is that AI is reshaping our society. It's going to reshape how we interacting with computers. It's going to reshape how we interacting with information and how we interact with each other, how we interact with kind of merchants and services. And so there's a lot of different dimensions. And I think the important part for us is that effectively what you right now interact with, right, be that applications, browser pages, etc., all of that is going to get reinterpreted in this new world. And it's effectively, the AI that will be navigating the internet and finding the opportunities, finding ways to, to satisfy your requirements, your intents. And so that's a kind of cornerstone, because blockchain, albeit, has built a lot of kind of important tooling to really power new economy, power a new way of peer-to-peer and kind of direct payments and communication. The challenge was, most of the internet interactions were still guarded by Google, by Instagram and Facebook, and there's actually no opportunity to kind of plug in this direct communication. There's also kind of a number of specific requirements that everybody should follow that right now have not been designed kind of for machines, right? Be that terms of service, be that various partnership agreements, etc., that you need to follow. And so all of that really kind of prevented blockchain from getting adopted beyond obviously speculation, kind of digital native experiences like NFTs so far. And again, given AI is reshaping how we're interacting with computing and content, how we're interacting with each other, that's the opportunity where we actually can bring blockchain to really mass adoption. And so this is kind of the main thread here, and kind of the lens to look through what we've been doing with Near over past 6-7 months. So next slide. So conceptually, as we're moving in this world, you can imagine that you will rely more and more on your AI assistant and agents to be doing work. And the challenge is kind of not the challenge. You will need to give it more and more context, right? It will need to know, your preferences and what you're doing, your bank, state and statements, and who your friends are, how, what you prefer to buy and where you prefer to eat, who you date, etc. And as you're kind of revealing more and more of your life, the privacy is becoming more important, right? For personal cases, maybe medical records is not something you want to kind of scroll over the internet. For business cases, this can be your, customer relationships. Can be your know-how. And so all of this, you do want to really belong to the kind of user organization that have it. And so this is where kind of this idea of user ownership coming in, right? It's a way to flip on its head kind of the current model where there's always a middleman effectively that you're interacting with, be that Google or even current AI applications where you're going to them and kind of giving them their data in exchange for responses, where they optimize for making more money for their company. That's a very natural state of affairs. And so we want to flip it on its head to AI that actually optimized for individual user or company level or community level well-being and economic success, right? So you maintain full ownership of your data and assets. You importantly now have an ability to have experiences that are customized for the user. Because if you are able to give all of the data, all of the information to this assistant and you trust it, it can actually give you recommendations that none of the existing apps would be able to do because they don't have context, and you wouldn't trust them. You wouldn't trust Google uploading all of your medical data and all of your banking statement and all of your personal information. And even if you do all of that, right, they have lots and lots of requirements. How can they cannot use it? Versus your AI can actually analyze all of this together and maybe suggest a hospital visit or changing diet in a very natural way. So that's kind of where the change of experience, customized experience coming in. This also means that when you're interacting with internet, instead of apps and kind of going to a specific app and navigating through their interface, to just generate you that experience on the fly that is optimized for a specific function you're doing. Like how many times we're stuck with like weird interface and trying to find the feature or function we need. And so here you will just get to the exact thing you need. Now, even more importantly, this AI now can participate in the global marketplace directly, right? So you don't need to go through, let's say, Amazon. If you can just go directly to the producer of the product and order it from them and kind of pay directly to them as well. So this is where kind of blockchain payments and kind of AI agents all coming together, kind of creating this. Like what's right now, Amazon is effectively discovery, logistics, and support functions all now kind of get like dismediated and allowing to have these direct relationships again. And so kind of the idea is we want to build this in a way where users, services themselves, and people who are building this, researchers are all benefiting. So there's a monetization kind of model for all of this. Next slide. So many of you may have seen this user-owned AI stack, which is outlining effectively what are pieces we need to build to really power this new way of doing it, right? So this is very much kind of analogous to what's been built inside some of this AI labs who are offering our products right now, but now offering this through a lens of user ownership, through a lens of effectively open source community being able to really work together to build this. So next slide. So for those who are not familiar, kind of how all these pieces fit, you have various data sets. This can be specialized data about specific problem, right? Medical data, logistics, etc. You can have synthetic data sets, and all of this is stored in decentralized storage on the bottom. Now then that goes into kind of training base model, fine tuning it with specialized data for specialized models, which then used by agents, which are effectively programs that use AI model to kind of interpret semantic requests, but also have a bunch of code that can call different APIs, tools, other agents, as well as has way to access larger banks of memory through kind of retrieval augmented generation called RAG. And finally, all of this inter-agent communication can pay each other, can effectively interact and create commitments to really kind of have this peer-to-peer interaction. Next slide. So we've launched kind of on this mission in May. And so since then, we launched a first AI incubation cohort with 6 amazing projects, kind of filling in many of these blocks. So far, they already raised collectively over $26 million. and kind of building out their own products. Go next slide. We've launched a few weeks ago a partnership with Delphi Labs for next cohort of 8 projects, building as well a number of kind of different blocks in this stack. And so if you go to the next slide, a number of these founders are extremely excited, effectively partnering with Near to really build this vision, right? Because they effectively allow to have both, each other as clients and kind of starting to really bring it all together, as well as, we can all build towards this future, which is user-owned. Next slide. So overall, there's a number of projects we're working with in different ways, really building out this ecosystem, right? Including research communities and accelerator partners. We have, data storage layer, infrastructure layer, and applications layer, kind of really tying all of these pieces together into actual products. So ton of stuff going on. I mean, amazing work by Near Foundation, by Delphi, BetterWorks, Horizon, as well as folks with Near AI and kind of Edge, ton of work across the ecosystem. And obviously this project's been doing amazing work pushing the envelope forward. Next slide. So this is kind of where we are, right? So what's coming next? And I'll caveat this, you'll have more detail about this at Redacted and kind of learn more. But just to give you a little bit of alpha here, well, as I mentioned, the current AI assistant, right? If you go right now to ChatGPT, well, it cannot actually take any actions, right? It's not really assisting you, it's just giving you some information. It's not kind of like they are building some of those features, but they're pretty limited. It's not able to pay for you. It's not able to kind of interact with other services and have multi-party conversation. And so this new vision, right, is really a new paradigm where your AI assistant can directly take actions with services, can spawn separate conversations with other AI agents, and decide how to act upon their result. And this vision, right, obviously has billions of assistants and agents effectively working together, creating economic activity. And all of this requires truly scalable blockchain, right? This is where, again, near scalability comes in really importantly, because if you have billions of these agents, you need something that can actually continue scale with this demand. And Near is the only network that is able to do that. So that's one piece, going from knowledge to action, from kind of information to economic activity, from isolated effectively usages of AI that happening now to interconnected network of AIs effectively working together to solve problems, to help for like specific individual or a company with their business needs. Next slide. So just to give you a quick example, I'm as a user, I want to buy, for example, a bike. My assistant goes and looks for who are the agents that are selling, for example, bikes, or doing e-commerce, maybe get some options from them. I maybe refine it. I like, hey, I want a road bike and, under $1,000. And then when I'm ready, I, just click effectively sign, which creates a transaction. And already the responses from those agents are signed, effectively commitments to sell me the bike for this price. And so we countersign it and we settle. So that's effectively an intent settlement process that happens. No checkout, no signups, no kind of advertisement process. Effectively, your assistant is kind of working to find the best option for you, working to kind of optimize across your criteria, allowing you to refine your search, showing you a nice rendered UI on how this bike will look like, and maybe allowing you to explore it in different contexts. A little bit different example is, I want to improve my math skills. For example, elliptic curves is something I'm not very confident with, so I'm asking my assistant, and there's not much information that it has, and it's not sure about this information, so it actually goes and finds a course, like another AI agent that offering a course to get me to practice in elliptic curves. And so now, there's a micropayment happens there. And now I'm, for example, daily get some materials and a few challenges to go through to really learn kind of how elliptic curves work. And then another example is a more crypto one, where you have two agents effectively communicating that they want to exchange some type of asset or some type of interaction. It sends, hey, I want to swap 100 USDC to Genier. It gets some quotes. It decides which quote it wants to go, and it settles this transaction, right? So this is kind of more traditional Web3 example, but this can start with natural language request with some set of parameters. So all of these, again, this is a new paradigm. There's a bunch of different folks in the ecosystem building those pieces, right? Bit is doing a really great job on the transaction building. Like Questflow is doing some interesting things and executing different flows on your behalf. But we are really trying to tie it all together into one kind of approach. Next slide. Finally, there's another side of this, which is research, right? Right now, most of research keeps going on inside this big research organizations, because they effectively centralize, coordinate how the research is happening. They share with each other work in progress, and they can reuse each other's work. And so we want to replicate this approach in open source. And we want researchers around the world to really collaborate and leverage community resources to kind of push things forward. And finally, there should be a way to monetize this research, right? So that this monetization both pays researchers as well as pays for more community resources, compute resource, data resource, etc., to really propel it forward and kind of create an economic flywheel. So both of these things, right, kind of knowledge to action research, we're going to be talking more at Redacted. I'm inviting everyone to join. We cannot come in person. I'm sure there will be a way to watch it online. And we'll be posting more stuff on Twitter and on blog. So check it out. Thank you.
Thank you so much for coming on, Ilya. I couldn't be more excited about what's going down next week at Redacted. Open Web Future is looking near, and it seems like a lot of great projects starting to build out this infrastructure that we need to take on the Web 2 oligopoly. That's only going to get stronger when they're going to apply AI to all of their services. Next up, we have Conor from Flipside. I'm going to share some interesting stats around Near Protocol throughout the latest months. Conor, the stage is yours. Let me know when to change the slides.
Yeah. Hey, Peter, how's it going? How's everyone doing today? Yeah, so we're just going to do a bit of a 2024 in review. We think with Redacted coming up, it makes a lot of sense to talk about late Q4 2023 and the changes that we saw in 2024 within Near, and we'll do that across MAUs, user retention, revenue, TVL, and do a bit of a protocol spotlight as well. So happy to dig into the data here. Peter, you can hit the next slide. Yeah, so 2024 was a year of explosive growth for Near. Average MAUs, as we work with the Near Foundation to define core KPIs, and what we really want to look at is engaged users who are interacting with 2+ protocols. That actually grew over 2.5 times. We were at close to 10,000 users in 2023, around 8,640 users, but that has skyrocketed to about 32,000 users on average interacting across various Near protocols every month. When expanding out, and I did, sorry, Peter, update one of these slides the last minute. So I actually had updated this chart on the left to some more new versus returning user metrics. But when expanding out to include users of Near's more integrated applications like Sweat and Kaiching, where some of the the Near infrastructure meets users more in a wallet sense, and more of those Web 2.5 focused protocols like Sweat and Kaiching, users have grown massively. We've actually seen this number closer to 30 million every single month, and those returning users are coming back. I actually talk more deeply about the. Yes, this is perfect. You can share this one. Yeah, so MAUs grew about 63x from 312,000 to over 20 million monthly active users, and you can see that big purple part on the bottom right graph is returning MAUs. So we see that number had really grew in 2024 as users moved. They stayed in these wallets, they were coming back and using them, but they were also exploring greater parts of the ecosystem. If you want to hit the next slide, we can actually talk about retention, which is, I think, definitely one of the best metrics to look at when it comes to how users are actually engaging within an ecosystem. Crypto is one of those things where it's frictionless. Users can move from ecosystem to ecosystem, exploring new opportunities until they find a place that they really feel at home. And I think a lot of users, the data shows that a lot of users did find a home with Near in 2024. 1 month retention in 2023, the second half of 2023 was about 31%. So 3 out of every 10 users were who found Near in 1 month stayed the next month. That number is over 75% now in 2024. And that's both just within a specific application, and then users that are also trying, like we said, that key metric of 2+ protocols. The number even goes higher to in the 90% for that cohort of users. So users are, like I said, finding Near and staying, which we think is a really positive indicator for growth, and we look to see that continue to pace upwards and to the right in 2025. Next slide. We'll talk about TVL a little bit. Like I said, we wanted to capture changes from 2023 to 2024. Obviously, 2022 was a massive year for the market. So while things are still off those 2022 highs, TVL today is about 2.5x off 2023 lows and sitting roughly at 230 million. What's interesting is the drivers of TVL and how those have changed over the last year. So TVL in 2023 was largely within ref. You look at that bottom right chart, you see that massive blue area of that normalized graph has definitely begun to creep down as TVL has expanded to a ton of other protocols, which is really great to see, is that users are flocking to more breadth and a different array of protocols. And Burrow actually is dominating the market today at about 40% of TVL. If you want to hit the next slide, we talk about revenue. So revenue has continued to grow with over 185,000 Near in revenue generated across the ecosystem over the last 365 days. A majority of this revenue is, it's monthly active users is kind of a leading indicator there, but those Web 2.5 applications, so here, Kaiching, Sweat, definitely dominate, but Near's DeFi ecosystem is a growing contributor to ecosystem revenue. And we can see that pretty clearly with Ref, which is the protocol spotlight on the next slide. They have been a steady contributor to ecosystem revenue. Over the last 365 days, there's been almost 10 million swaps on Ref, which has generated about 5.5 million in protocol fees and 1.8 million in protocol revenue. And we think that as more focus is paid to the DeFi ecosystem in Near, we see liquid staking tokens, and that's something that I covered in the Q3 town hall. Actually, we see their growth. We'll see this flow through to DeFi applications like Ref, like Burrow, and the expanding set that gets launched closer to the end of the year. We'll see these numbers steadily tick up. I did want to flag that this dashboard with all of these numbers, called the State of Near dashboard, developed by some Near community ambassadors that work with Flipside, as well as the Flipside data science team, is all available, open source, public, refreshed, basically daily on the Flipside site. If you search State of Near report, it should come up front and center, and it has a ton of metrics from protocol deep dives to more deep stats around that 2+ protocol number for monthly active users, things like protocol revenue, all of that can be found there. So I definitely didn't want to take up too much time here. I think all of us can kind of talk about the growth that we saw between 2023 and 2024, but definitely encourage people to take a look at the report. And if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out.
Thank you so much, Conor. Super bullish updates from your end. The data speaks for itself. And combine that with the presentation you just had from Ilya, couldn't be more excited about where the near ecosystem is heading. And I couldn't be more excited about getting this fella on stage. Genia David Morrison.
Genia, G-M-G-A-G-N-G, whatever suffix you want to throw on the end of that beautiful letter of the alphabet. It is redacted week. It is finally upon us. We have made it, people. This is a long work in progress, not just by the people at the NEAR Foundation, but by the entire ecosystem and beyond as well. So, Peter, if you could go to the first slide, I think it's just a beautiful picture of a cat. Yes, it is. Now, let's remember where it is and when it is. If you haven't got your ticket yet, you can get it for free at redactedbangkok.ai. Tickets are completely free. Spaces are limited, and we are, I believe, approaching capacity. It is November 9th to the 11th in Bangkok, Thailand. That is this weekend. If you haven't got a flight booked yet, now's your opportunity. Next slide, please, P. So what are we looking at? It's not NearCon this year. It is redacted instead to align a little bit further with NEAR's chain agnostic, chain abstraction narrative. The core theme is reclaim your sovereignty. We've got to give these guys over at Big Tech something to fight. Because if we don't, they will continue to stamp on our throats and suck the thoughts out of our mind and bend them and twist them in ways that best suit them. Happening for 3 days. We have an incredible closing party. I'm not going to say what's going to be there, but there is a lot of incredible things that are going to happen as well. And if you missed it, we'll get into it in just a second. The Sov3 app, which is a beautiful upgrade on the NearCon and NCon app you saw last year, is really going to amplify the IRL experience. Next slide, please, P. Thank you very much. So November 9th is pretty chill. You can relax, drink a beer, maybe smoke, whatever you want. You know, I think it's legal in Thailand, whatever you want to do. But there is a pre-registration party. You got to pick up your passes, so you're not standing in a queue on November 10th and the 11th. And then, of course, the 10th and the 11th, we've got the main conference, hackathon ceremonies, parties. There is an incredible talk planned from the one and only Ilya Polasukin. Expect to hear from Alex Shevchenko of Aurora fame and Alex Skidinov, again, of NEAR fame. And for the Liberty lovers out there, Edward Snowden will be giving a wonderful talk on all things AI November 10th as well. You can check the schedule on the website. If we move to the next slide, please. Pete, logistics one more time. Okay, fair warning, Bangkok has nightmare traffic, like the worst traffic you've ever seen. It's an absolute crazy city. It's incredibly fun, but do plan ahead. If you need to get from one side of the city to the other side of the city, it might well take you a long time, particularly if it's rush hour as well. We are located pretty centrally, not too far away from DevCon, etc. There will be, if you go to the next slide, boats running. Yes, we have wonderful, beautiful branded boats that will take you across the river. So if you choose not to dare get in a taxi, you can just jump on a boat as well, completely free, show your redacted pass, and you'll be shipped over to the redacted venue. Next slide, please, Pete. This is a beautiful look at the layout of the venue itself. So you'll see that we have the swag shop there, which we've aptly named Shop GPT. Both of the stages down there at the bottom, there's a night market, Hackathon. There is going to be a kind of relaxing lounge where you can go and inhale oxygen, even though you inhale oxygen every day, but this is pure oxygen. And then on one of the days, you may be able to get a nice little massage as well. Next slide, please, Pete. Okay, now this is the big one. This is where it gets really, really, really exciting. There is a on-chain application attached to all of this. We do love to show off the power of NEAR's tech, and you will see it firsthand at Redacted this year. It's a web app. You don't need to download anything funny to your mobile phone. You'll create a wallet. You'll be airdrop some SOV tokens, and then you're on your way. You can do scavenger hunts. You can connect with partners and do some little tasks to earn more SOV tokens. You can use those SOV tokens to get the hottest and best swag in the entire crypto ecosystem. And I think, Peter, if you go to the next slide, we've got a beautiful presentation in the form of a video to show our family and friends right here. I don't know how good it's going to come out. Can we press play on it or not? All right, how beautiful was that? Next slide, please, Peter. I think we're playing the video again. We need to keep the pace up. We have an incredible array of partners joining us at Redacted. There are 36 of them. I'm not going to waste your time. I know that each of you can read. You can take a look at the picture there. But some highlights. You can go grab waffles from the Nuffle stand. You can get free water and water bottles from the Sweat Hydration stations. There is a podcast zone. So if you are looking to record a podcast or be in a podcast, head over there. Of course, Agoric and Modern Lion, both responsible for the registration party and the closing party. Electric Capital co-working space, if you just can't stop building like so many in Web3. And of course, a beautiful chain abstraction lounge from Proximity and some incredible ecosystem booths as well. So do be sure to check out each and every corner of that venue, unless it's a staff only corner, in which case, if your name is not staff, you cannot go in. So next slide, please, Peter. Here's some useful links. Useless to you if you're watching these on a live stream, because you cannot click them. But you can get pretty much everything you need on the Redacted website. That is redactedbangkok.ai. Keep an eye out on X, Twitter, formerly Twitter, for all the news, the hottest details. And you almost got it right. It's .ai, not .ao, but good job. Thank you all very, very much. I believe this is the last slide. God bless. I will see you out there in Bangkok, and stay tuned. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much for coming on, David. See you soon.
Always a pleasure. Bye-bye.
Bye. All right. Yeah, I managed to get it right at the end. Can be difficult to repeat. Okay. So everyone, redacted.bangkok.ai, not .ao, is the place to go if you want to participate in the event of the year, making the open web a reality is a mission we all need to embark on, and the revolution starts. All right. Next up, we got Alex and Crosslink, and I'm gonna bring you on stage, Chen. The mic is yours.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes, we hear you perfectly. Take it away.
Okay, sounds good. I'm very happy to be here. My name is Chan. I'm the CEO at Alex Go, which is the technology company behind Alex, as well as being the CEO at Xlink, which is building the liquidity infrastructure on Bitcoin. This is the first town hall, a near town hall I'm joining. So I wasn't quite sure what to expect, but the previous speakers had actually very, very good content. So very useful session so far. So I want to just spend maybe the next few minutes just talking about what we want to do with the community here. So Alex and Xlink recently announced a plan to integrate chain signatures to upgrade one of our project called the Bitcoin Oracle, which is the cross-chain messaging platform built for Bitcoin ecosystem. Now, what we are looking to do is integration of the chain signatures is intending to do that to Bitcoin users to use their Bitcoin on the Bitcoin chain in terms of both speed and the security. So just quick history of Alex and Xlink itself. So Alex started about more than 3 years ago as a DeFi protocol on Stacks, one of the Bitcoin L2 with the aim of building finance on Bitcoin. And Xlink started, well, and then Alex is now the biggest DeFi protocol within the Bitcoin ecosystem. Xlink started about a year ago, I think also a bit more than a year ago, as the infrastructure to connect Bitcoin and its ecosystem to non-Bitcoin world, and is now one of the very few cross-chain liquidity infrastructure that supports Bitcoin chain natively. So what we focus on is what we call Bitcoin-centric chain abstraction. So I tend to focus on the former two, Bitcoin-centric versus chain abstraction, which essentially means Bitcoin users being able to interact with DeFi ecosystems across different blockchains with no complexity and with Bitcoin wallets only. We viewed a number of alternatives to build these, as well as developing our own, and chose nearest chain signatures given the strength of the technology stack, as well as its maturity of it, the feasibility of the execution, and its compatibility with Bitcoin stacks and the EVM, all of which we support. So what you can expect from us for the next few months. So the upgrade, the work is just starting, and the upgrade rollout is expected in the late first quarter of next year. We expect to, as part of the upgrade, we expect to migrate many products that are already integrating and working with Xlink to Near. So for example, Lisa, which is a liquid staking project, will bring yield-bearing Bitcoin and yield-bearing stable to Near. Alex, which I mentioned, runs the DeFi platform, will integrate with native DEXs on Near to provide unified liquidity for the Bitcoin users using Xlink's what they call the liquidity hub or the cross-chain router as the source to unify those liquidity. So on the right-hand side, the picture that you see is the current the Bitcoin Oracle structure, which is what we are looking to upgrade with the chain signatures, but I wouldn't go too much into the details. So very happy to be here, and I myself are very excited. So is my team, and we look forward to working with everyone here and the Near community. We will be in Bangkok on November 10th. We and thanks to proximity and folks there, we will be presenting. We'll be present at the Chain Abstraction Lounge or booth. So I think that's between 1 to 5 p.m. on November 10th, and I'll be there myself. So I look forward to meeting all of you, hopefully there. So I see you all in Bangkok. Thank you. Peter, that's right for me.
Thank you very much, Jen, and a warm welcome to you to the ecosystem. I look forward to meeting you in person next week. All right, next up we got Tyrie from Onchan. Am I pronouncing it correct?
You got it right, Onchan. Absolutely. And
I got it right.
Peter, just adding the thesis near week slide presentation up there. Perfect. I appreciate it.
All right. Just let me know when to hit the next slide.
I think that I might have control from my side, so maybe we're good to go.
Okay, let's go.
All right, beautiful. So hello, everyone. My name is Tyrie Robinson. I am the head of ecosystem at Onchan and CEO of a product that I'm going to be introducing today called Thesis. So a quick little bit of background about Onchan. we've been building at the intersection of blockchain and AI since 2020, sort of a little bit early movers in the space, pioneering the AI oracle for validating and delivering off-chain AI to smart contracts. Our current roadmap is focused in three primary areas, continuing to obviously improve our L1 Orichain's infrastructure to optimize for on-chain AI use cases. We're also supporting the development of distilled AI, which is a framework for the creation of on-chain agents with private intelligence, and inspired very heavily by the need for efficient omni-chain liquidity options for on-chain AI agents. We've conceptualized Thesis, and we've been working on this for the past few months. So before I dive too deep into the product overview, I just want to give a little bit of my worldview right now, right? Centralized exchanges are winning. And we should all be asking ourselves, is this really the future of financial autonomy that we were promised, right? There's still a huge opportunity and demand to compete directly against centralized exchanges. And that will be enabled by simple account creation, familiar feature sets, and omni-chain asset support beyond the typical ecosystem boundaries that we experience in on-chain trading today. Now, the simplicity of perp dexes is actually why we see so much like energy going in that direction the past couple of years, right? But in most cases, all of this really great liquidity and volume that we see on perp dexes is isolated. It's inside of these walled gardens, and since they're purely dealing with stablecoin traded derivatives, there's still a huge opportunity and gap in the spot market. And we want to see more liquidity put to work on order books, tightening spreads, enhancing depth, and ensuring accessibility for omni-chain apps and this next-gen omni-chain apps that really will need access to real assets, right? Not just to derivatives, but to real assets and real volume. So from our perspective, spot leverage is actually a huge gap that can still be filled, and attracting traders by offering increased buying power, generating protocol fees, and also generating some yield for margin lenders on all of these chains. So where are we headed? My vision for Thesis is to become the world's first omni-chain spot margin DEX, capitalizing the very natural demand for leverage and activating liquidity to facilitate more efficient markets for traders, and also really important for agents. Our aim is to enable a SEX-like order book trading experience across many chains: Bitcoin, Solana, TON, EVMs, IBC, and of course, Near. We always knew that Thesis would be a limit order book based DEX, but as we spent a lot of time thinking outside of the box about how we were going to attract liquidity, it dawned on us that isolated spot margin is something that's sorely missing in spot markets today. And it's one of the most straightforward products that centralized exchanges offer their traders. So maybe this is the key to balancing the interest between stakeholders with a very organic set of incentives. Traders can earn bigger profits with bigger buying power. Native asset holders can earn real yield generated in a very controlled way on these spot margin positions. And then protocol can enjoy fees from increased trading activity and lending. Now, an incredible amount of coordination goes into building an omni-chain DEX with functional liquidity. We're building both a consumer-facing trading app, but also, APIs and SDKs for developers. But let me just sort of hop in real quick and talk TLDR on our features. Number one, fully decentralized order book and matching engine, optimistic order streaming, sub 100 millisecond execution for orders. Focusing on the universal account experience, enabling deposit from a wide range of native chains in a completely non-custodial manner. And for like-kind assets like USDT, which can be deposited from a number of native chains, we have a clearing mechanism that helps to improve that asset UX. All of those features are currently in the MVP stage of development, live and sort of ready to go. Our next step is moving towards margin lending and spot margin experience, unlocking leverage for spot traders and yield options for cross-chain lending. Now, to give you a brief overview of our architecture, this is like the most simplistic version I can give you. Thesis is really aiming at being a truly omni-chain application with critical components deployed on all supported networks. Here we're using Orichain as the clearing layer, This is where order matching, margin management, and routing will happen. And thanks very heavily to the work that Proximity has done with near chain signatures and chain abstraction, our users can enjoy a fully abstracted UX. Near chain signatures actually will play a critical role for native asset settlements based on events that are happening down at the clearing layer. This huge chain and asset coordination effort is necessarily complex, but the best part of using a product you love is hiding everything inside of a really beautiful and smooth user journey. Our work is to literally hide all of the moving parts and ensure seamless onboarding, trading, settlement. And again, I can't overstate the important role that chain signatures play in this process. They're providing a method for omni-chain account derivation. They are giving us a fully non-custodial system for funding accounts and allowing people to deposit their assets to the exchange and trade completely in a non-custodial environment. And finally, they are literally the enabling technology to enable final settlement of native asset swaps across these chains. This is our very first time sharing Thesis in public outside of some small focus groups that we've run. If you're interested in learning more, joining us from the alpha, please scan the QR code up here and fill out the form attached. We're really excited, as you could probably tell from my presentation today, about the unique spot that we're filling in the market. And we're very committed to driving a lot of demand for Near as well as for everybody in the Omni chain. So everybody's welcome to follow us on socials. We're happy to be contributing to the Near ecosystem. And big thanks to you, Peter, for having us here and to the Near Week team today. So I appreciate it.
Dang, I'm excited now, Tyrie, and I'm following your progress intensely over the next couple of months. Thank you so much for coming today. I look forward to see where Ori Chain and the Pizza Fix is going. Woo, that was a good presentation. Next one, we got Socket Protocol coming up. I'm gonna add them to the stage. GM.
Hey, Peter. GM, can you hear me well?
Yes, I'm gonna leave you on the stage. Take it away.
Thank you, Peter. Hey, folks, this is DevHub. I also go by VC. Thank you so much for having me on here. Super excited to sort of present what we've been cooking with a Near protocol, and we are calling this the chain abstraction framework, right? The idea is Near has this amazing tech called chain signature, and Socket has been building a chain abstraction protocol. And the idea is combining both of them together to present consumer applications a unified framework to build in a chain abstracted fashion, right? If you look at the images on the right here, an application today using Near chain signatures has a unified user account. So they have a single account to manage their funds on Optimism, on Arbitrum, or on Ethereum. But their balances are sort of isolated on each of these networks. So while the account is unified, the balances aren't, right? And I think that's the number one thing that Socket will enable along with Near chain signatures here, where now with the user account, the balances will also be chain abstracted. So finally, instead of having $100 on Optimism, $100 on Arbitrum, $100 on ETH, you can have $300 everywhere, ready to go whenever you want, right? Peter, if you don't mind going to the next slide. This, of course, removes the need for gas tokens or need for bridging or any of those unnecessary complexities that users might face. For a consumer application, this Socket and Near together propose this seamless chain abstraction framework that gives them two very important things. One, a chain abstracted wallet, allowing them to authenticate actions on any network with a single click. Second, it gives them this chain abstracted balance, allowing users to spend their assets no matter where they are on any app instantly. So you can see this before and after image, where before you would have multiple wallets across multiple networks holding multiple assets, and you would sort of move these assets around. You would wait for the bridging to be done, and you would sort of have this fractured experience, really. this for a consumer app means death, literally, right? What chain abstraction framework that Socket and Near have been cooking together enables us this unified experience where, as a consumer app, you get a chain abstracted wallet, you get a chain abstracted balance, and now it doesn't matter where you are. It doesn't matter if you're on Base or Solana or Near or Arbitrum or Optimism. You get to interact with applications and a single click instantly. There is no need for you to bridge. There is no need for you to have gas. You can just interact with applications like it's web, right? This is what ultimately we all want to enable here. I think there are a few quick examples on the left here. One of them, of course, is chain abstracted wallets. All of us would love that, right? Like who here likes seeing 5 different types of USDC in your account? Who here likes seeing $2 worth of ETH on Optimism, $2 worth of ETH on Polygon, $2 worth of ETH on Arbitrum? We want the ability to spend $6 worth of ETH for the NFT that I want to buy instantly. And that's what this framework can enable. Chain abstracted perpetual platforms where you can trade anywhere on any of the existing perpetual platforms with a unified margin account. So not your fragmented margin accounts, but a uniform one. Chain abstracted DEX and trading experiences. Of course, like imagine being on Base and trying to buy a meme coin, but you don't have assets on Base. And if you sort of like go ahead and try bridging, the meme coin would have pumped like 300%, and you would lose the reason you're trying to buy that meme coin. With this thing, you have your chain abstracted balance with you at all times that you can spend to buy that meme coin or mint that favorite NFT of yours pretty much instantly, right? Super exciting work here, and it has been fun collaborating with the Near protocol folks over the last few weeks as we sort of put together this framework. Consumer apps can now leverage Socket and Near and sort of like offer this ultimate UX to their end users. Pretty short and sweet presentation, Peter, but I think I will mark it down now.
Thank you so much for coming, Lucy. Really excited to follow your progress on everything chain abstraction looks like. Future
Thank you.
is looking Socket and Near. Have a great evening and see you soon. Next up, we got our very favorite Joe from DevHub.
Hey, thanks, Peter. Thanks for having us back on here. Yeah, we just have a good update of what's been happening with DevHub. You can go to the first slide. Yep, next. Great. So there's been a lot of changes at DevHub over the past quarter, especially, and not only with all the stuff that's happening with the hackathon, but just in general. We've updated dev.near.org to really focus on getting started building right away. You can see these changes here today. Over Q3, we saw 55,000 unique visitors, which was really indicative of the growing interest in Near. The hackathon certainly helped some of that, but that's not all included in that number as well. That's just Q3. Some of the things that you'll see here are a new, more welcoming landing page. We're adding an events page, and we're also embedding documentation with better search capabilities all inside here. So the mesh between the main dev portal along with the docs page has been all updated. Next slide. Speaking of docs, so last 30 days, we saw a huge growth in people using docs. Obviously, again, the hackathon really helped that, but that was about almost a 20% increase in usage there. And we're seeing people not just going there and looking up stuff, but actually doing searches, which has really been great. And in the meantime, we've actually updated over 20 key pieces of documentation during this past quarter as well. So this is something that's been continuing to evolve. We're working hard on making sure that we have all the latest and greatest for all the great technologies being built here. And the docs has been the sole place to go to for all of that. Next slide. One of the big things that we're super excited about is from the hackathon came this collab between the foundation directly as well as DevHub and our DevHub Live product. We hosted 14 developer workshops, 6 AMAs, and from that we shared over 50 unique clips out of there. We saw some really strong numbers as a whole, including 34,000 views through our AMAs. Each live stream got anywhere between 5,000 and 15,000 views at a time, Our workshops did over 70, and our clips were doing over 75,000 total views, which we're super excited about. But most importantly is that are people actually using what we're talking about? And we saw a significant increase of all the tooling across Near in Q3. Again, part of this is the hackathon. Part of this is actually before the hackathon had even started. So we saw really strong numbers across all of that. But we've also been continuing to update. So again, we're not just sitting and waiting for people to use what's existing. We've improved the Ledger integration. There's been added a teach me mode in the CLIs. JavaScript SDK got a huge update. And then we continue to update all our Rust tooling, which is the main language for the smart contracts. And the Cargo CLI has been improved. And if you have not had a chance to use that as a developer, that CLI tool is certainly a delight. Next slide. We also have a product called Race of Sloths that came out of DevHub. And this is, again, helping developer engagement and reward open source contributions. And they just had a really big announcement that we're not just doing Web3 projects. We've actually got Axios. If you actually ever built with JavaScript, you probably know that library. That library has joined Race of Sloths that has over 106,000 GitHub stars. So now if you contribute to that library, you are tracked on Race of Sloths as well. Also, they just had a Rosktoberfest, which just ended up, and they're going to announce the winners later today. So keep an eye on the final leaderboard. But if you can go to raceofsloths.com, you can see all of that, join into the fun of just contributing to open source and be rewarded through there. Next slide. We are also doing a specific weekly newsletter called DevHub News. This is kind of a deeper dive into the news from what Near Week already does each week, which is awesome. We kind of take a developer perspective of everything that's happening that's relevant to builders. So we encourage you to sign up for that, and that's each and every week that we do that. And all our stuff is also going on socials, which we continue to build out and saw a really large growth through these different socials over the past few months. With all this said, there's a lot going on, both again from supporting developers through the different Telegram groups as well as documentation, but we're also having products that are coming out as well, which I'm going to have Ori from DevHub as well come up and talk about our new Treasury management system that is being used as well, not just by us.
Awesome. Thanks, Joe. Hey, everybody. So yeah, today I want to talk to you about a challenge that DAOs and small teams face, which is managing their treasury funds. Many of those teams, like the Infrastructure Committee, the Near Foundation, and DevHub, often deal with complex processes when it comes to approving and distributing payments. There are multiple steps and tools involved, as well as stakeholders, which can make it difficult to track everything in a transparent way, and also lead to potential issues for payment recipients. So to address these challenges, our team has developed the DevHub Treasury dashboard. Next slide, please. So this tool simplifies the entire process from creating a payment request to voting and distributing the funds. With the DevHub Treasury dashboard, you can easily collaborate with your team, track the progress of payment activities, and keep your treasury secure. It's fully decentralized and open source, and we built it on Sputnik DAO version 2, and everything is on chain. So let's take a quick look at how it works. Next slide. So first, when you open up the dashboard, you get a clear overview of your treasury, including the balance and history. Now, imagine you need to initiate a payment request for a community grant. Next slide. So, and by the way, these were supposed to be like video snippets, but I can just speak to them. But essentially, when you head over to the payment requests page, you can click Create Request, and there you can add all the details and submit it for approval. Next slide. And then anyone with voting permission can, oh, sorry, can you just go back one? There we go. Yeah. Anyone with voting permission can then review the request and vote. And you can also see who approved and rejected the request. And once approved, the payment is automatically processed to the recipient and the transaction is added to the history. All right, next slide. We've also built customizable settings where you can manage the team members and assign specific roles and permissions, configure the required voting thresholds, and set the voting duration. Oh, there we go. Looks like now you can see everything that I was speaking to. Yeah, so over here, we're on the payment requests. And if you head over back to the settings, Peter, next slide. There we go. Yeah, so over here, you can manage the members, you can configure the required voting threshold, and also set the voting duration. All right, so next slide. So we're very excited about this Treasury tool and have already started using it ourselves and testing it with a few teams. And the feedback has been very positive. And we're planning to have a public launch soon that will enable anyone to spin up their own dashboard as well. And we've got some awesome features coming up too, like support for stake delegation, asset exchange, and lockup management, which will make it even more useful. So if you want to learn more or get early access, please reach out to us. We'd love to chat with you. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Ori. That dashboard is looking slick, and I can't wait to start using it. Definitely gonna sign up new week immediately. Next up, we got our very own cross-chain product, DevHub, and they have been busy lately. Nick, the stage is yours.
Hey everyone, good to be back here. Super excited to kind of give you guys a quick update. Although I am running late for a meeting, so I'll keep this short. Big overviews this quarter, we've surpassed about 200 mil in volume traded through our front ends. So we're very, very happy about this achievement here. Top chains including Arbitrum, Base, Optimism, Linea as well. We also pushed out the biggest update to the DApp core product with this V2 update called Da Vinci, which includes an entirely new UI UX rebranding. So I would urge everyone to go and check it out. And a few other cool feature products, including SuperBridge, which is a bridge aggregator, SuperSwap, and DexAg, all in one functionality where we consolidate some of the primitives available within each network. So a user can click on chain XYZ and basically see actions they can do, bridge, swap, lend, provide liquidity in this singular user interface. And then finally, portfolio support, which is very similar to DBank. So we support on-chain data indexing for 5 networks at the moment. With this North Star of combining DeFi primitives within DApp and being this ultimate consumer app layer for users. Within Q3, we integrated 15 new dApps as well. We also pushed out a pretty significant application interface for Berachain called Beratown. So these are kind of the big product updates from our end. On the chain abstraction side, we are working towards this North Star of building a super DeFi app that is truly a consumer-friendly DeFi entry point for the superchain ecosystem. So meaning this platform would allow users to kind of complete their entire DeFi journey in one place and truly feel like they're using a superchain, and they can keep most of their attention activity within this ecosystem. And this is obviously made possible by initiatives like ERC 7683 and what Across did to build out this interface for cross-chain trade execution. And so you can imagine like a user that is able to see portfolio balances combined in one place across these different superchain ecosystems and be able to kind of click on each network to be able to perform different DeFi actions, swapping, lending, bridging, and then based on this portfolio overview, they can make holistic decisions and enable better decision making with certain intents embedded into the super app. And so for all these attention angles that we've been sort of building, we've been working on a variety of different products. Ultimately, the goal here is to like really build out better user-friendly interfaces, right? So we've been working, with Across, with Zero Lend, with Dolomite, with different dApps and different networks to really try and redirect attention to actions that we want users to do and collect a lot of user behavior and understand how best can we improve on these builds and improve on these user interfaces for applications that we can drive attentions towards. So I think in this case, one of the things that we're really excited about is Diffuse. And I think this is an example that we can really leverage and bring value back to the Near ecosystem, driving attention back to this multi-chain spot DEX. So we're very excited about this, and I'm sure in Q1 we'll have some updates regarding Diffuse and DAppDapp. Excited to see you all in DevCon and Redacted. So see you guys there this weekend. That's it from my side.
Thank you so much for coming, Nick. And G said on the milestone of 200 million. That's incredible. And keep pushing. You guys are doing great. Next up, we got Ben Keurig from KeepHum giving us an overview of what they've been working on lately. Ben, take it away.
Awesome. Thanks. Hey, everyone. Happy to be here. I know we're a little over time, so I'll keep it relatively short. Just brief update. Today, I'm going to be sharing what we've been up to over the past couple of months. I'll talk about what we built for everyone that's going to Redacted, our recent one-click connect launch in partnership with Sweat Metapool, the development of multi-chain trial accounts, and then I'll end it off with a brief sneak peek of where we're going in 2025. Next slide, please. So kicking things off, for people that are going to Redacted, I'm super excited for you to try out the new Redacted app that we built in partnership with the folks over at BuildDAO. This is a fully fledged web app, so no download required, and it has zero friction onboarding. So once you're scanned into the venue, your ticket transforms into the app, and all you got to do is choose a username. It's as simple as that. It features multi-chain drops on 7 different chains, scavenger hunts, the ability to buy swag and food with your SOV tokens that you collect, and more. I'd say this is probably one of the most technically advanced conference apps out there, and the best part, it's entirely on-chain. It includes a state-of-the-art decentralized relayer that we built in-house, and it's pretty neat. I'm excited for you to try it. Next slide. So moving on, a few months ago, we announced our 3-way partnership with Sweat Metapool. We built out one-click connect that allows users to completely skip the wallet selector and just sign into apps with the click of a single button. This is perfect for non-Web3 natives, such as the users of Sweat. It's the fastest app connection out there, and there's plenty more partnerships in the works to bring one-click connect across every chain. Next slide. Finally, last week we shipped a demo of what multi-chain trial accounts could look like. For those who don't know, trial accounts are a way for apps to give out almost like a Web3 gift card to their users. Apps specify exactly what the funds can be used for, and it is impossible for the user to rug the app and steal the funds. Again, this is entirely on-chain, and it's now multi-chain. In the demo we shipped last week, you could one-click sign into both a Near app and also an app deployed on Arbitrum with the same account. The funds in that account cannot be used for anything malicious, so it's kind of like a zero-risk onboarding mechanism for apps that also features a decentralized relayer. Next slide. And then as for where we're going in 2025, we're looking to create the next generation of wallet selectors that's going to power both Near and every other chain, providing seamless app connections everywhere. We're also exploring ways to secure AI agents using the trial account technology and using that as a progressive onboarding mechanism for new users. And then as for one-click connect, we're going to be bringing that multi-chain. So you can connect to any app on any chain with the click of a button. Finally, we want to expand our conference circuits so that Near powers the underlying tech for every Web3 conference that you go to. So that's it for me. Thanks, everyone, and I'll see you in Bangkok.
Thank you so much, Ben. So many great updates. I'm really excited to use the Redacted app myself and use it on building. Keep it up. Keep up the good spirits. So next up, we got a brand new protocol in the Near ecosystem coming out of Stealth. And I'm super excited to bring the royal pool to the stage of the Templar protocol.
Good morning, everyone. We're building a chain abstracted borrowing protocol that allows you to take your Bitcoin, for example, send it to another native Bitcoin address, use that as collateral, and then borrow against that, getting stable coins initially on Near, but eventually on any chain as well. We are finishing up our round currently, and we're going to be launching on testnet by the end of the year, and and on mainnet with several different vaults in participation with the Near Foundation. Will be launching some vaults as well as some other partners, so stay tuned.
That's it, guys, from Template Protocol. I highly suggest you go follow them. You can see their X tag at the bottom of the slide, www.x.com/Templar Protocol. These guys know how to build DeFi systems. That's all for now. Thank you so much for watching. I think that this very well sums up this town hall that Near Protocol is at the forefront of building out open source AI infrastructure and also having applications that can facilitate AI on Near, as well as chain abstraction, which makes blockchain technology accessible and intuitive with a clear vision and concrete steps towards achieving superior user-owned AI and a blockchain experience for all. So Near is clearly demonstrating that it's actually beyond the rest of Web3 by both capabilities and the types of things building on it. And most critically, as we saw today, projects are doing things on Near that they're not able to do on other chains. With a steady grind and elite execution, we're going to get there, friends. This is a marathon. It's not a sprint. Don't look at prices. It's not what should affect your mood. You should look at the long term here. We're taking on the Web2 oligopoly. This is not something that changes from one day to the other. So dear Near friends, let's keep on showing the world what Near ecosystem is made of. Keep doing, keep being you. We're extremely impressed here at Near Week by the Near community and all the newcomers. Make sure to help each other out, play it safe. If you have any questions, if you need any connections, always hit us up. We're here to facilitate cross-ecosystem collaboration. And please bear in mind that none of what has just been presented and said should be construed as financial advice. As always, do your own research and follow Near Week if you want to stay up to date with everything that moves Near Protocol. To all of those who are going to Bangkok, see you in a few days. For all of those who are watching the town hall, see you next month. Remember, the open web revolution is near. See you all next month. Bye.